Blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, Allah, Yah, Yod, He, Va'u, He, Elohim, God in our modern day word, and in the name of the Son, our Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message, a continuation of the message, America, code names, Egypt, Earth, Eagles, New Jerusalem, Zion, Babylon, Assyria, Nineveh, Asia, Amorites. In part 1, we covered Egypt all the way down to Nineveh. In part 2, we're going to cover Asia and Amorites. And in part 3, we're going to cover New Jerusalem and Zion, which takes us to Amos 2, verse 10. This verse talks about Egypt and Amorite in the same verse. Also, I brought you up from the land of Egypt. We covered that Egypt is America, so that part is covered, and led you 40 years in the wilderness to possess the land of the Amorite. So if the Exodus is going to be in America, the land of Egypt, where do you think the Amorites are? The Amorites are in Egypt as well, because you're not going to be led out of America to another country. You're going to be led from parts of America to another part of America, from the North Country to the South Country, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. That's where you'll be led. And who owns those lands right now? Who is title holder for those lands, those 4 states that I've just given you? The Amorites, the Americans. So it's not the people of color who own those lands who will be moved from the north to the south country. It's now being held by the Amorites, code name the Gentiles, code name Esau, code name the Caucasian Americans. So let's do the Hebraic typology to figure out who the Amorites are. A-M-O-R-I-T-E-S. You take the T, remove the cross from it, put that cross over on top of the O. Spin the O to the right, you get an A. You have enough words to unscramble America. The only word that's missing is the C. And the C is missing because it's telling you, see America. It's drawing attention for you to see America. The initiates who coded this knew that in our time we'll be shortening words. Instead of writing the word Y-O-U, we just put U. Instead of saying see you later, we put C and the letter U. So they know we'll be shortening words at this time. See America, the C was left out, but you have enough to spell Americas. So to summarize this verse and what it's saying, the Amorites were the Caucasian Americans, the Gentile Americans, the white people who are occupying Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Those lands will be possessed by the children of Israel, the dark-skinned melanated people who will be exodusing from the north countries to the south countries. So they're going to move into those lands and occupy those lands when the tribulation reaches at a critical point, when the judgment reaches a critical point. That's what Amos 2 verse 10 is telling you. Asia is America. Now with this one is a bit trickier, but I'm going to guide you through it so you know what's going on with Asia and America. In the Bible, it makes a couple of mention about Asia, and we think it's Asia in Asia, but no, it isn't. Asia, again, is America, another code name. 2 Corinthians 1 verse 8, for we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble which came to us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure, above strength, insomuch that we despaired even of life. Now, where in Asia do you find people that are despaired even of life? that their life is so hard because they're being held under slavery 400 years, part involuntary, part voluntary, and their life is so hard, and they're being given that hard life at the hands of the Gentiles, the Japhetites. Where? Nope, nowhere there. This story again ties back to the children of Israel in America, the house of Israel in America, the dark-skinned people. Now we look at Revelation 1, verse 11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The program that we're in right now, it's a 7,000-year program where you come in as a probationary time. It begins at one point in time. It ends 7,000 years later. Alpha and Omega program, start and end. Now we're going into the final phase of the Omega, where the earth is going to be transformed and become a spiritual planet. But let's read on. What thou seest, write in a book and send it out to the 7 churches which are in America. It says Asia, but that's to throw you off. To give you even a definite clue that they're talking about America, the initiate throw in Philadelphia. Where's Philadelphia right now? In America. But it's to give you a clue that it's talking about America, even though it says Asia. It's talking about the 12 tribes of Lewis, of Israel, the dark-skinned people that are in America. This is a message to them because John is a descendant of the children of Israel. So he's giving them the message, but it's coded. It was recoded by the Greeks and by the Romans, but they left clues in there. Asia, Philadelphia. And that's the thing that should be written to the tribe of Israel. The 7 churches are the 7 hermetic principles that you need to live by in order to connect your physical being with your spiritual being. And it's telling you, based on the writing, whichever one applies to you, you have to line up yourself with that hermetic principle and get that in line in order for you to be in agreement with the word and the philosophy and the plan and the teaching and the love of the Most High and the Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. Let's decode Asia into America. Let's look at the right-hand side of the screen. We'll take the A, the S, put the spaces that are needed to form the word America. We have the I where it should go, the A where it should go. Then we take the S, you can either turn it up or down, but you'd have to flip it so it forms out one side to form the M and the other side going upwards. That's why I flip it that way. Then I take the right-hand side of the S, flip it upward, you form the M. That's how you get the M from the S. Then I go to the right-hand side of the A. You'll take an A, you'll turn it to the left, and then flip it over. Then you form an E. That's how I get the E. A, M, E. The R and the C are purposely left missing because they want, whoever coded this wants another initiate who know these coding to come and decode the word. They don't want it to be easily identified. So they tie Asia, which is America, into these 7 churches. These are not churches. The Bible tells you, you are the temple, O Israel. The temple dwelleth within you. So it's not sending you back to a building, because the initiates who write the Bible scriptures know that there won't be a stone standing of the building, the actual building, the physical building of a church once the destruction starts. And the initiate who wrote as Jesus told you, there won't be a stone standing of this structure that you call a church, because he's referring to the church, the one that's built without hands. You are the temple of the Most High. So Asia and the 7 churches, referring to the 7 principles that the children of Israel who are in America need to incorporate in their lives at this time of revelation, where the judgment is going to be handed down to everyone on the land of America. So in order for you to not be a part of these severity of the judgment, you have to line yourself up with the 7 principles of the Lord. Thoth, Melchizedek, his name was also known as Hermes. That's why we have the 7 Hermetic principles. But Hermes is a reincarnation of Thoth, the 7th principle of Thoth. That's why I can tell you, Thoth, the Lord, who is Melchizedek, the Hebrew name. The Egyptian name is Thoth. Asia is America. To understand what the 7 churches of Asia means, the 7 churches of America, and its relationship to the 7 Thoth principle, the 7 Hermetic principles, I'm going to have to take you through English Gemetria. And what that is, every letter has a number that's associated with it. If you look at the chart at the top below English Gemetria, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, they all have a number value assigned to them. 1 through 7, counting up, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, counting down. 7 is the number in the middle. 7 is the magic number. Hence, 7 churches, 7 Hermetic principles, 7 chakras. All types of 7 going on. 7 is a very important number in the Bible. So, continuing with NOPQRSTUVWXYZ. Same number count going up and then going down. So you count up to 7, then you count back down to 1, count up to 7, count back down to 1. That's how you get all the numbers associated with each letter in that alphabet. From there, each of the 7 principles of Thoth, you assign the number that correspond with it. Mentalism, M is 1, E is 5, N is 1, T is 7, A is 1, L is 2, I 5, S 6, M 1. All I'm doing is pulling the number that correspond to each of those letters from the English Gematria chart. And then all those numbers, I sum them up together to get the total of 29. And I do the same with all the other principles: correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause, effect, gender, same thing. Then I do the same for the churches: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea. Did the same thing with all of them. Find the number that's associated with the letter, then sum up all the numbers which form that word. I get the totals at the bottom: 37, 16, 30, 34, 27, 43, 23 correspondingly for each of the churches. Then what I do from there, I sum Ephesus and Smyrna together. The sum for Ephesus is 37. For Smyrna, it's 16. 37 and 16 equal 53. If you look at the total for cause and effect, it's 53. Just to give you a quick example. Then after that, I sum Smyrna and Thyatira together. 16, 34 equal 50. If you look above on the chart again, correspondence, 50. Then I sum Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea together. 27, 43, 23 get 93. And I'll show you the importance of 93 when we get to the next slide. But this is how you convert it from the principles of Thoth to the churches. That's how he's tying it back together. Not a physical church, as I've been telling you. These are spiritual books. So you have to find the spiritual meanings to things that are given to you in the Bible. Yes, you can relate to the physical, but that's the surface meaning. Buried within the surface, there's a whole bunch of mysteries buried in the surface. Once you see the number 7 pops up in anything in the Bible, there's a spiritual meaning to it. You have to go find out what that is. Which brings us to the churches again, the various numbers associated with each of them that we've just computed, and then how the matching is going on. Let's start with the principles of Thoth. The numbers 1, that's what we just computed. The numbers 2, that's another way to interpret that same number. 29, you can flip it the other way. It becomes 92, reverse it. 50 stays at 50. 33, if you put the 3 together, it's just a 3. It's the same number repeated twice. So that's why we have the 03. All the other numbers can be interpreted the same way because we have corresponding number for them in the churches. We go down to the churches, as I've told you before. We put together Ephesus and Smyrna, 53. And we've put together Smyrna and Thyatira, 50. And then we've put together Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, 93, the sum of those 3 numbers. Numbers 1 is what we had computed on the other slide. On numbers 2, that's where we're putting the additions together, where we're grouping different churches together. One church goes with the other in order to get the principle associated with it. So that's what we've done in Numbers 2. In Numbers 3 now, for example, Smyrna is included with Ephesus, and Smyrna is included with Thyatira. So it's part of Thyatira, the 50, so the 50 has to go up and be a part of Ephesus and Smyrna, because Smyrna is in Ephesus, it's with Thyatira. So the 50 goes both places. Pergamos, we already identified 33 as 03. Same thing now with Sardis. Sardis is included with Philadelphia and Laodicea to get you the 93. So Sardis is a part of the 93 group. So it gets 93 as its number 3. And now we match the 7 principles with them. 53, you look on the chart above, 53 cause and effect. 50, that is correspondence. That's where Hermetics 1 come in, Hermetics 2 for the first 2 churches. Pergamos is 30, but it's the same as 03. You flip it backwards, you get 03. Vibration is 03. Thyatira is 50 when you add it with Smyrna. 50 on the chart lines up with correspondence. Sardis by itself is 27. On this chart, you have many 27s. Polarity is 27, rhythm 27, gender 27. That's why Hermetics 1, 2, and 3 correspond with those 27 in the chart. Philadelphia is part of the group that makes up 93. So Philadelphia now, you tie that with the number that's closest to 93 in the chart above. Mentalism, 92, when you take 29 and flip it. Same thing for Philadelphia. Same thing for Laodicea. Same thing for Sardis, because Sardis is a part of that group. So what is this telling us? What is all of this telling us with the church? This is telling each of the people that corresponds with the description of these churches, because in Revelation, it tells you what is wrong and what is right with these churches. These people that are tied into the children of the house of Louis, the house of Israel. In Asia, which is America, it's giving you a blueprint of the principle you need to work on in your own life to make yourself ready for what is coming. The Most High and the Lord is giving you a blueprint on what you need to work on so you can make yourself ready for the house of the Most High, for the temple of the Most High, and for the galaxy, the spirit, and everything, all the manna that the Most High is making ready for you, and the Lord is presenting it to you right here. Cause and effect. What do you need to work on? You need to create good causes to have good effect. That's what Smyrna and Ephesus need to work on. Create good causes, have good effect. You create bad cause, you've been getting bad effect. Now you need to change that and create good causes. So you need to match that up with correspondence. Correspondence, as above, so below. You create good things above, good things below are going to occur to you. But you have been creating bad causes at the top of your correspondence. When you go down to the lower portion, the below, those bad causes follow you with the same effect, because the effect is going to be the same as the cause, only if you change the effect and then you change the cause. So you need to work on those two things. Pergamos, your vibration, need to be worked on. Vibration is the key. It's the number one principle. Your vibration has to be high. You have to always be vibrating high, meaning taking on good things, things of the Most High, spiritual things. Bring that into your life. Raise your vibration. Stay away from all the conflicts, the fuss, the fighting, the hate, the war, who doesn't like, the envy, all kind of different things. Remove yourself from that kind of vibration. Stay with things that are going to build a positive vibration. Turn your thought to the Most High, and the Holy Spirit will be with you to help you raise your vibration to a level where all these negative things, all these disharmony in life that's bringing down your vibration will have no more power over you. Thyatira, correspondence, we just covered that. The same thing applies. Sardis, lot of work is needed on Sardis. Polarity is off. Rhythm, meaning your flow is bad. You have a bad flow, you're just in and out of problems. Good today, bad tomorrow. Sad today, happy tomorrow. Your rhythm isn't good. The agenda, you're using a bad I, which is your willpower, and you're creating bad things with your feminine power, because all gender is your masculine energy, your feminine energy. Masculine energy is your I that wills it, thinks it up. And then the feminine energy is what goes out and creates it, whether physically on your body or physically in your life. So you're getting a bad will from either yourself or someone else, very likely, and then your feminine energy is creating that bad will that you just created for yourself. Think bad, create bad. Your I and your me are off. That needs to be worked on. Your mentalism, your thoughts, the things that you're bringing in your mind are not good. Everything is mental. It starts in the mind. You get a vibration, you get a rhythm with that vibration, then you place it in the mind. That's the flow of it. But what's going into the mind is way off. The rhythm is off, so the mentalism is going to be off, because you're mentally creating bad things. So Sardis, a lot of work is needed, but it's presented to you now so you know what you need to work on. That's what this is presented to the churches, the children, the house of Israel, the house of Louis. In Asia, which is America, this is your information, your blueprint. Philadelphia, Laodicea, we went over mentalism. So we've covered almost all the items in the 7 principles of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. These are the things that you have to now be honest with yourself. When you read through Revelation, be truthful when you see the descriptions are being given to the churches, the 7 churches. Because if you're not truthful to yourself, you're going to miss what 7 principles you need to work on. Pay close attention to what's being said. If it ties to you, you go back to this chart. This is what you need to work on in order to correct all the things that are being told in the 7 churches of Revelation. Not a physical building. It's the 7 principles of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah, that the children and the house of Israel have to bring into their life in order to not be violating the 7 laws of the Most High. Now, it brings us to Luke 21:25, and this is the reason why I'm giving this message, because there are things that are going to happen in America, quite a few things, and the children of Israel need to be aware that the book of truth, that they are the people of the book. They are the covenant people of the book, the dark-skinned melanated people, the ADOSs, and others who have joined them in America. They are going to be the ones who need to know these signs to prepare themselves. Because when these signs start to show up, you know that you're going to be in preparation mode. They have already been showing up. Just to give you some spoiler alerts ahead of time, if you look at my other message, Signs Before the Great Signs and the Revealing of the Messiah, it tells you everything you need to know about the signs. But I'll tell you this much. The signs started in 2017, and it runs for 7 years. And within that 7-year period, all things have to be done. The first 3.5 is given to the forces of darkness to wind up their affairs. And then the other 3.5 is the Most High is winding up their affairs. So Daniel 12 verse 7 tells you about the first 3.5 from 2017, March 2017 to be exact. And that takes us to September 23rd, 2020. That's when everything shall be done. From September 23rd, 2020 to March 2024, that's the wrap-up time. So we're in and we're moving into that wrap-up time. And he shall be given power for a space of 42 months. That's Lucifer given power. That's when the last portion of these signs shall be in motion, full motion, but now they're winding down. The mild version of it, the extreme version of it is coming. So that's why the children of Louis, the children of Israel, the house of Israel, the dark-skinned people in America first, and then across the entire world, Caribbean, South America, Central America, Asia, Europe, Africa, wherever those house of Israel descendants are still residing, this is for you. Get yourself ready. Because these things are going to ramp up in that portion where the devil's, aka Lucifer, is given the power for 42 months. And that's from September 23rd, 2020 to March 2024. That's why you see all kind of ramping up based on what man is throwing out at you. To give you an example of America again, because I'm keeping the focus on America, to start off, one of the signs, it's telling you the sign of the sun and in the moon. So that's why I take you to here, the solar eclipse that occurred in 2017. That's the sign in the sun, one of the sign in the sun and the moon. There's a combination of two. An eclipse is created by a combination of the two, sun and the moon together. The first one in August 21st, 2017, that's the line it created across the screen to the left-hand portion at the bottom. When is the next one scheduled to occur? 7 years later, according to what I'm telling you. There's a 7-year window. April 8th, 2024, it will make its trajectory across America again, creating an X. X marks the spot. X marks the spot of Zion. So that's why I'm telling you, people in America, the children of Israel, the house of Israel in America, this is the sign for you. And this is a sign that's telling you within that 7-year period, everything shall be done. Because the Most High works in 7. 7 churches, 7 years. The Third Testament, Book of True Life, chapter 55, that's where it's talking about what's going to happen to the earth during that second 3.5 years, which starts September 23rd, 2020 to March 25th, 2024. This is the purification period. In the latter part of that time, that's when the purification will kick in. Verse 18 of chapter 55, it's telling you, "For you, O Israel, the ark is the practice of my law." Telling you, you need to now find that ark. The practice is law. What is his law? Ark, it's what's going to protect you and have my love in it. That's what the Most High and the Lord is telling you. The ark is his love. In 19, he gives some more on that. All of this humanity, I say again, the ark is my law of love. All who practice love and charity with their fellow man and fellow woman and with themselves will be saved. That's why I'm coming to Israel and everyone who's listening to this message. Get into practicing the Most High law of love. Love your fellow man and fellow woman as you love yourself. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. That's the law of love that you need to practice, and that will create that ark of protection around you. I am not telling you you'll be protected by that. The Most High, through his messengers, are telling you that you can get your protection by practicing the law of love. Doesn't mean practicing it last minute. Starting now, get enough time to practice, because practice makes perfect. Which takes me to verse 20. I have always given you time to prepare. So they're telling you, this is your time to prepare. You're getting time to prepare. And you want to make sure you prepare yourself within the year 2022. Because that's the halfway mark of that last 3.5 years. September 23rd, 2020 to March 25th, 2024. And that's where things have to happen. Things have to ramp up. Prepare yourself. The time is now. I have shown you my love, warning you and strongly urging you to change from your sinfulness and change it to righteousness. That's what repentance is. And to reform yourself, give up your evil ways, and to live good, live righteously. Reminder again, your window is from September 23rd, 2020 to March 25th, 2024. You're now in 2022. So your window now is January 1st, 2022 to March 25th, 2024. Very small window, very short window for you to make that change. Find your ark. That's the window. It has already started. All the tribulations that you've heard about has to begin at some point, because they all have to end by March 2024. The time to prepare yourself is now. You're getting this message? Take it, absorb it, and prepare yourself now if you're not prepared. How do you prepare yourself? First, by humbly praying, asking the Most High for forgiveness for any sins that you have created in the past, present, or any you decide you want to create in the future, asking for that forgiveness. And then turning your thoughts to the Most High, to His laws that you haven't been keeping, which is loving your fellow man and woman unconditionally as you would love yourself. Doing unto your fellow man and woman unconditionally as you would want them to do unto you. And then living by that, committing yourself to living your life that way, then you will be prepared in time. If you prepare yourself as such, Zion, which is in America, New Jerusalem, which is Zion, which is in America, will be your new home. That's where the new kingdom will be. I saw a new heaven and a new earth coming down from heavens. And the name of the place was New Jerusalem. That's what we'll cover in part 3. Zion, which is New Jerusalem, which is in America. Stand strong, be strong, and stay strong in the name of the Father, the Creator, Allah, Yah, Yod, He, Va'u, He, Elohim, God in our modern day term, and in the name of the Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah.